All right, let's dive right into this explainer and conquer a topic that is an absolute must-know for your Class 10 board exams. We're talking about arithmetic progression. Now, we are going to treat this session just like a top-tier student's notebook. Imagine clean, handwritten notes, perfectly structured concepts, and everything designed specifically to get you exam ready. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by sequences and series, honestly, don't worry. We're going to break it down so smoothly that it literally becomes second nature to you.
Before we even look at a single formula, let's ground this math in the real world. Have you ever noticed how the rows of seats in a giant stadium expand as you move higher up? Or think about how the rungs on a ladder are spaced perfectly, equally apart. That right there, that is an arithmetic progression out in the wild. By understanding these tangible, everyday examples first, the academic definitions we are about to tackle are going to make so much more sense.
So, here is our roadmap for today. 1. Decoding arithmetic progression. 2. Core formulas made easy. 3. Step-by-step problem solving. 4. Secret tricks and shortcuts. 5. Avoiding common exam mistakes. And 6. Final revision and motivation.
All right, Section 1, Decoding Arithmetic Progression. Let's look at the basics. When you strip away all the complicated math jargon, an arithmetic progression, or AP as we'll call it, is just a predictable, constant pattern that repeats. It's simply a sequence of numbers where the jump from one number to the next is always exactly the same. There are no surprises, no sudden giant leaps, just reliable, constant steps.
And that constant step brings us to our absolute most critical variable, D, the common difference. I want you to think of D as the engine that drives the entire sequence forward. Or hey, even backward. It's just the fixed number you add to the previous term to get the next one. So if your sequence is 2, 4, 6, 8, your engine, your D, is 2. Once you find D, you completely control the whole progression.
Moving right along to Section 2, Core Formulas Made Easy.
Okay, the crucial point here is locking down these two formulas. Go ahead and imagine drawing a bright, colorful box around these in your mind. The first is for the nth term, which is exactly how you find a specific number anywhere in the line. The second is the sum of n terms. And fun fact, the famous mathematician Gauss actually figured out the underlying logic for this sum formula when he was just a kid in elementary school. He realized you could just efficiently pair the first and last numbers together. For both of these formulas, you have A as your starting point, N as your position, and D as your common difference. Everything revolves around these three letters.
Section 3, Step-by-step problem solving. Listen, if you want to guarantee maximum marks on your exam paper, follow this exact sequence. Never ever jump into the math blindly. Step 1, clearly write down A. Step 2, calculate D. Step 3, write down the specific formula you chose. And finally, Step 4, plug in the numbers and solve. Examiners absolutely love seeing this structure. It shows you know exactly what you're doing, and honestly, if you make a tiny arithmetic mistake in Step 4, they can still give you partial marks for the first 3 steps. Let's walk through a practical example together right now. Say we need to find the 10th term of the sequence 2, 7, 12. Let's apply our 4 steps. First, our starting point A is clearly 2. Next, the difference between 7 and 2 is 5, so our D is 5. We want the 10th term, so N is 10. Now we choose our nth term formula, A plus N minus 1 times D. So that's 2 plus 9 times 5, that is 2 plus 45, which gives us 47. See how effortlessly that solution unfolds when you just stick to the steps?
Up next, Section 4, Secret Tricks and Shortcuts.
Okay, you're going to want to keep these topper shortcuts highlighted in your brain. The absolute best one is the subtract backwards trick to find D. Always take the second term and subtract the first. Do not try to guess it forward. Calculate it backward to avoid silly sign errors, especially when you're dealing with negative numbers. Also, if you ever have a missing term right in the middle of 2 others, just find their average, their arithmetic mean. And please do yourself a favor and scan your textbook for anything tagged important for board exams. Trust me, those tags are rarely wrong.
Section 5, Avoiding Common Exam Mistakes. Pay close attention, because this right here is where 80% of students mess up. They confuse N with A sub N. Think back to our stadium analogy from earlier. Never confuse the seat number, which is N, with the actual person sitting in that seat, which is A sub N. If a question says, find the 10th term, 10 is just the seat number. The mathematical value of that term is the person in the seat. You have to keep those two variables totally separate in your mind and on your paper. Finally,
Section 6, Final Revision and Motivation.
All right, here is your quick revision checklist to lock in before you walk into that exam hall. Remember your constant engine D, keep your AN and SN formulas boxed and bold in your memory. Always stick to the 4-step solving method to secure those partial marks, and finally, double-check your variables so you never mix up the seat number with the person sitting in it.
Remember this, every complex problem is really just a series of simple steps. Arithmetic progression might look super intimidating at first glance, but as you've seen today, when you break it all down, it is literally just repeating patterns and basic arithmetic. Consistent practice with these strategies is your absolute key to an outstanding board score. With AP Conquered, ask yourself this: where else in the universe do these invisible mathematical patterns exist just waiting to be discovered?